Yeah. So, Mike, we find ourselves today in North Harbour, right?
Yes.
And this is a new extension of the Malmö Harbour, because some of the maps that I've seen, and you have a copy of that in the Seafarers Club,
Yes.
indicates that this part of the harbour didn't exist in the 1960s.
No, definitely not. It's actually from 2011.
Oh wow!
Yes.
So, but all of this where we are driving now is reclaimed land.
Yes.
In front of us is the oil harbour,
Yes.
with the oil terminal, where we get the vessels that come in and bring oil and other chemicals into the harbour.
Yes.
And everything where we are driving was sea. This
Yes.
is all reclaimed land.
Yeah.
And this is the new extension of the harbour, and what is called the southern harbour is now to be developed
Yes.
for buildings.
Yeah.
So the harbour in essence is moving further and further out from the city.
Yeah.
100 years ago the harbour was in the city.
Yes, really in the city. You can walk
Yeah.
from the vessels into the city, and the bridge, and then we have this Lantmännen. So there was vessels actually going into the city. I think it's about 4 or 5 years ago when they closed the bridge.
Okay.
So then was the last vessel coming to the city center, and from there it's only about 2-3 minutes walk to the central station. But now that is history.
Now it's 15 minutes for us to be able to take seafarers from this part of the harbour into town.
Yes.
And here we see the cement terminal. We also have a terminal here where they bring CO2,
Yes.
which we use for beer and carbonated drinks.
Yeah.
And then here we have two very important parts of the harbour. The one is the place where we get the scrap that comes in, that is taken out, and various other things that are brought here. You can see the sign for the North Harbour in front of us. And if we were to turn left here, we go to the ferry terminal.
Yes.
And it's quite a unique ferry terminal, because these ferries bring in containers.
Yeah.
So in a sense, this is our container terminal.
Yeah, because we don't have any container vessel coming to Malmö. I think that's also 5-6 years ago. 5 years ago, when that line was cancelled.
And all of this is reclaimed land.
Yes.
And there's something rather special about this area out here, though.
You mean about the frogs?
The frogs.
In here, there is actually, in the port, there is a small pond, and in the pond there is small frogs, and they are red listed. So actually, you can't do anything about it. So that is one of the most expensive nature reservoirs we have in Sweden for sure, maybe in Europe. Because of that, the port can't use the land for.
And it's all reclaimed land.
Yes.
This isn't here from the beginning.
No. So actually I think that somebody put the frogs there to make a little, how do you say?
Protection.
Yeah. Protection for the nature. So there is actually protected land out here which nobody can do anything about because of the frogs.
And it's the land that is now on our right hand side.
Yes.
So on our right hand side you have a whole section that is reclaimed, that is built up, and inside of this there is water, and we have protected frogs who live there.
Yeah.
Do we have tours, frog tours that bring us in?
No.
No frog tours.
No frog tours.
Just expensive.
Yeah. Just
land.
expensive land. Yes.
And from here we can see out to sea.
Yeah.
Because this is now the edge, and it's difficult to see it from the car, but the ocean can be seen now all around us, and it's just massive. These container vessels coming here, not container vessels, but this big depot that we have in the harbour. And what is that all about?
Yeah, so it's coming trailers. So we have a ferry, and they come with trailers, and there is normal trailers, and there is also trailers with containers on them. And in Malmö we have container hub, so I can actually take containers from train to lorries to the ferry, or from the ferry on the lorry to the train. So there is a lot going on in Malmö with trailer, and before we have a container crane, but it haven't been used for a long time. But still, this is very important hub for the south of Sweden. For the
here you can see the ocean.
Yeah.
You can see right where we are, and in front of us is the ferries. That's where they're coming in.
Yeah.
And then we can see in front of us one of the very big vessels that come into port.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that carry cars.
Yeah.
Our car transporters.
Yeah. And Malmö is one of the core ports in Europe, and it was named a core port 2012, and that was just because a core port in Europe means that it's a very important infrastructure for logistic in Europe. So that was then in 2012 it was called a core port for Europe.
And Mike, we have, I mean, when we talk about Malmö though, we need to say that this is called CMP.
Yes.
This is the Copenhagen Malmö port.
Yeah.
So essentially it's all considered as one port.
Yes. And that was from 2001 when the bridge between Sweden and Denmark were finished, and actually Malmö was on the edge to get rid of the port in Malmö, and this was a savior. So because of the combine of for the Copenhagen port and the Malmö port, now is Copenhagen Malmö port, CMP is now connected to each other, and they are really trying to do the best of the two worlds, because all ports have different freights and different interest, and they're trying to make the best of it in the two ways.
So the whole trip today, the whole video has been shot driving on reclaimed land.
Yes.
That is reclaimed this century.
Yeah.
And part of it is a frog prison.
Yes. All for the frogs.
All for the frogs. Okay. Jag tror vi kan sluta.